2023 is not that far away, actually, and in particular if you consider the pace of change in the legal industry. So it really is tomorrow. I think people are trying to make things more complicated than it needs to be. There's a lot of conversation and buzzword in the industry at the moment, things like AI and technology and thought leadership and value billing, and it's hard to know what that means and how it should translate and what the client wants in the end. And I would almost encourage people to read one of your study from last year, a piece of research which was called The Voice of the Client. I think the leading law firm will be the law firm that actually closes that disconnect and really understand what client wants. And we're not that complicated as an animal. It's quite easy. If you ask us a question, most people will be happy to volunteer. So to me, the leading law firm will be the one that really understand what will make their clients really happy and make them tick. So it's all about the dialogue.
So I think we're going to see big change over the next 5-year period, and I think that can largely be characterised by thinking about it in terms of brands and products. And I think the top tier law firms will have got themselves to a place where their brand is super clarified, and the products that sit within that brand and the visibility that clients have in buying those products will be, a paradigm shift from where we are now, and that's about transparency, mobility of data, and really being able to sell your brand and your products in a slightly different way.
I think the one trap that the law firms could fall into is not changing, not evolving. The law firms that take the mantra, it's not broke, don't fix it, I think are the law firms that are going to struggle, because increasingly the demands of in-house legal teams and businesses that they're working with are going to need to see change.
I think making advice very, very pragmatic is absolutely critical. It can sound a little bit glib to say make the advice practical and make it pragmatic, but what that means, from my perspective, is understanding really how our business operates, not just like where the P&L is, but internally, how do we make decisions? How do new processes get implemented? So, for example, saying to me, here's some advice and you should implement it, it's kind of half the battle. Saying, here's some advice and I know how your executive team works, or I know how your governance structures work, so you should implement it at this point or at that point, is much more valuable to me. So if a firm can take the time to really understand not just the business, but also the kind of internal machinations of an organisation, I think they'll be much more effective. And firms that fail to do that and try to just isolate their work to the legal advice, that'll be a real trap they could fall into.
I think the one trap that law firms could fall into is not reacting. I think it's very easy to stick with a model that you've got that's very successful. If you're earning a lot of money as a partner in a law firm, why should you change? And I think that is a danger. There are a lot of examples of technology driving industries out of business, and I think that's the big threat for lawyers. They have got to move with the times. It's not just a threat for the legal profession, if you like, it's an opportunity and a threat, a challenge for every profession. Why should our clients, our customers use us? They can find the knowledge by Googling it. That'll be even more so in 2023. So they must move with the times.
I think the first is failing to appreciate how powerful the diversity of thought within your organisation is. You need to find a way to unlock that to its full potential in order to really push to be a progressive firm going forwards. I think the second is to see technology as a means to an end rather than an end in itself. Tech will sometimes be the right solution, but never underestimate what a good process with good people involved in it can deliver. And I think the last is that law firms need to look at the balance of pushing for profit, which I know the bigger firms are really looking at and modelling, as against building long, sustained client relationships where you unlock value in a slightly different way.
So I think there's a great opportunity for law firms to think about some of the challenges that GCs are under in terms of how GCs manage their implementation of legal services and how they manage their own legal budgets, and trying to align the services to the relevant kind of value point in those in-house needs that we have. So, for example, I may well need a couple of senior partners operating on a large fundraising, but I don't need that on a small minor employment matter. In fact, there might be some work that we can automate, and actually if a law firm can help us automate it, that would be even better.
I think the greatest opportunity is to move away from doing the mundane work, from doing the work of cross-checking the drafting on documents, from doing all the what has been called the grunt work in due diligence. All of that can be done either in offshore centres or nearshore centres or by technology, and I think the result of that will mean that law firms have an opportunity to perhaps gain some of the ground they've lost to the consultancies and the accountancy firms, and use the new technology to be trusted business advisors. I think that's their greatest opportunity.